The vision shown in this video has been recorded in a controlled setting for the purpose of product installation demonstration purposes only. With its elegant flat pans and ease of installation, Fielders Prominence is a rare mix that both the specifier and the builder can appreciate. With its eye-catching street appeal and versatility for contemporary architectural designs. This video will consider a common roofing and walling installation application for non-cyclonic regions. As part of the Fielders Finesse range, this profile is supported by a comprehensive online design and installation manual available at specifying.fielders.com.au. You will benefit from referring to this video and the detailed manual together. Fielders Prominence is available in cover widths from 180mm to 465mm, with two standard sizes of 265mm and 465mm for maximum economy and efficiency. It's available in a 0.55mm base metal thickness or 0.75mm base metal thickness for special projects. Fielders Prominence is simply screw fixed using wafer head screws into either steel or timber battens or structural ply backing. To minimise the effects of oil canning in Fielders Prominence cladding, it's recommended to keep panel lengths under 8 metres. However, for special project requirements, longer lengths may be available, subject to negotiation and minimum order quantities. Fielders Prominence can be readily installed on either battens or a structural ply membrane. For roofing applications, a structural ply membrane is required for prominence cover widths greater than 265mm to provide adequate support for foot traffic during installation and maintenance. It's good practice to install a heavy-duty roof sarking for both roofing and wall applications across all the Fielders Finesse range profiles as an additional weatherproofing measure. Make all the laps in the sarking with a 150mm lap. Tape with sizelation tape on at least the outside face. Best practice would be to seal the lap with double-sided tape first. Ensure there are no ripples or puckers. Seal at the top. Follow the manufacturer's installation recommendations. For maximum weather tightness, lay sheets towards prevailing weather. Before lifting sheets onto the roof, check that they're the correct way up. Also, that the overlapping side is towards the edge of the roof from which the installation will start. You'll find this much easier and safer than trying to turn sheets on the roof. Place bundles of sheets over or near firm supports, not at mid-span of roof members. Order roof sheeting cut to the length of your roofing run, plus an allowance for overhang. For example, into a standard gutter, this may be 50mm extra. Design the pan width of the sheets to allow an even span across the roofing area, ensuring equal barge flashing widths. As this profile is a variable width product, profile-specific turn-up, turn-down tools are not available from Fielders. Select the most appropriate size tool appropriate to your pan width from the various size tools commercially available. To create the turn-up, at the top of the sheet, fit the tool over the end of the tray as far as it'll go. Then, push the handle to form a turn-up as close to 90 degrees as possible. Based on the width of your tool, you may need to gradually work the turn angle along the edge of the pan until the angle is achieved. Take care not to tear the corner edges of the turn-up. You can turn up sheets anytime. If you do it after they're fixed, make sure there's sufficient clearance to operate the tool effectively. At the gutter end of the sheet, turn down the sheet pan to approximately 20 degrees using the same procedure. Turning down is often done after the sheeting is fixed on the roof, provided there's no obstruction to the operation of the turn down tool. Position the first sheet to align parallel with the building edge. To ensure that barge flashings are equal on each side of the building, attention should be given to aligning the first sheet considering the roof run and sheeting cover. Set the planned gutter overhang, in this case 50mm. Screw fix the underlap edge to battens or ply, taking care to place the screws to the centre of the slotted holes to allow for expansion and contraction. Ensure to remove the protective film from the edges of each sheet before fixing. Cut away the rib at the ridge end of the next sheet so that it sits neatly over the turn-up of the previous sheet. Align and engage the new sheet at the gutter end first, then clicking the ribs into place with your feet or a rubber mallet, screw fix as before. Repeat this process for the roof run. For applications where the roof pitch is in between the minimum 3 degrees and 7.5 degrees, or where the roof run is greater than 5 metres, it's recommended that a bead of silicone is placed along the bend below the underlap rib prior to engaging the overlap rib. To complete the roof installation, now fit the barge and ridge flashings. The Australian standards for designs of flashings are referenced in both HB 39 2015 and the online Finesse design and installation manual. Our manual covers the common roof flashing detail including hip and valleys. Fielders produce all of these and any custom flashings to suit your individual requirements. The barge flashing needs to cover from the building external wall to over the sheeting first rib to provide a weather-tight solution. In situations where the barge top face exceeds 240mm, install a top span 40 batten at the midpoint between the external wall and the first sheeting ridge to support the barge capping. Use screws with a neoprene washer to ensure the right amount of flex between the sheet and the batten. Remove swarf as you go to prevent scratches to the finished surface of the sheeting. The barge capping, in this instance, needs to fully cover the pan to create a dry pan, otherwise there's potential for water ingress via the screw holes created by the batten being fixed. For applications where capped ribs and field hemming has been utilised, the barge cap end can be similarly capped. Extend the barge 40mm beyond the end of the sheet and then cut and fold the barge sides to close the barge end. With the gutter end in place, mark and measure the ridge end. Cut and fold the ridge end to allow fixing to the frame. Screw fix or pop rivet barge cappings to the roof sheeting and external wall at a minimum 500mm centres. Once both barges are fixed, the next step is to install the ridge cap. Design the ridge cap to cover the top of the roof sheet by a minimum of 150mm to allow the toes of the ridge flashing to sit well into the roof pan. Lay the ridge caps over the roof sheets in place and then mark to allow notching over the ribs and detailing around the barge top ends. Notch and cut. Ensure a good fit. Across the ridge barge junction, mark 40mm centres in preparation for drilling rivet holes. Remove swarf. Ensure a good silicon seal and rivet fix. Drill and rivet fix at each ridge. All longitudinal flashings need to be screwed or rivet fixed to a maximum of 900mm centres. The final task is to remove any protective film left on the sheets and give the completed surface an overall clean to ensure any mist, potentially rust-staining swarf is removed. We will now consider a roofing and walling installation focusing also on a Mansard roof detail. A feature of standing seam roof profiles, such as Fielders Prominence, is that the roof cladding can be aligned to the vertical wall cladding to create a seamless flow from roof to wall. This feature is known as a Mansard roof detail. In terms of sarking, look to cover the roof wall corner with a continuous roll of the protective membrane. The rest of the process is as per standard roof or wall preparation. Install the sarking behind wall battens or overply membranes and in accordance with the manufacturer's recommendations. Seal at the top. Ensure there are no ripples or puckers. Make all the laps in the sarking with a 150mm lap. Tape with isolation tape on at least the outside face. Be sure to plan your order of the prominence sheeting, taking into account the visual placement of the seams. Design your sheeting width, considering the area to be covered, to allow for a symmetrical presentation of the ribs and matching width corner and barge flashings. With the Mansard detail, you'll need to order your wall sheets over length to allow folding the pan and riveting to the first perpendicular roofing batten. Similarly, the roofing sheets will need to be ordered over length to take into account the rib protrusion, 38mm over length. First to be installed in place is the edge walling sheet. And ensure the first sheet placement allows an equal corner, barge flashing treatment. Ensuring the walling sheet is sitting plumb, mark in place across the back of the sheet to position the bend. The overlength top pans of the wall sheet are carefully cut alongside each rib to allow the pans to be folded to match the roof pitch and be fixed through the first perpendicular roof batten. Screw the wall sheeting in place, double checking position and plumb. Mark the height of the top of the roofing overlap rib against the wall rib. Mark the underflap rib to the bend height. Trim off the top of the leading overlap as per in-place marks. Trim the underlap rib to the bend height. Prepare the roof sheet, testing and fitting as you go. Trim the pan back from the ribs by the height of the rib, in this case 38mm. Trim the overlapping rib on a 45-degree angle. Leave the underlap rib to be trimmed in place. Check fit in place and trim further as necessary. Rivet fix the folded top to the frame. Apply high-strength double-sided butyl sealing tape to the angle pans of the wall sheets and also a bead of silicon sealant near the fold edge. Fit the roof sheet over the wall sheet and pay particular attention to fitting the roof overlap rib over the wall overlap rib. If necessary, trim the underlap rib of the roof sheet so that it does not exceed the wall rib protrusion. Rivet fix roof panel pan at the wall pan fold. A rivet at each end of the pan is enough. Now rivet fix the roofing overlap to the walling overlap rib on each side of the rib. Installing the remaining walling roof panels follows a similar process. It's important to check fit as you go. Mark the bend point in place with the roofing panel in position. Cut down the ribs of the walling panel. Pre-bend or bend in place to match the roof pitch. Trim bend overlap if necessary to ensure a flat fit. Screw fix wall panel to the frame. Measure, mark and cut roofing panel to ensure correct overhang of the ribs. Cut a 45-degree angle on the overflap rib end. Trim underlap ribs so that they'll be able to accept the next set of panels. Mark and trim the wall panel overlap rib to the roof panel's overlap rib height. Now fine-tune the roof panel's overlap and fit. Trim the roof panel underlap rib to create a corner with the wall underlap rib. Tape, silicone and pot rivet the roof panel in place. Pot rivet roof overlay rib to wall overlay rib. Continue this procedure for the roof or walling run. Let us consider walling and barge flashings as one process. Set up the vertical cap before the barge. In situations where the corner top face exceeds 240mm, install a top span 40 batten at the midpoint between the external wall and the first sheet ridge to support the corner flashing. Use screws with a neoprene washer to ensure the right amount of flex between the sheet and the batten. Create a fold at the top end to allow for riveting the corner flashing to the roof batten. Complete roof flashing detail as outlined earlier. For greater detail on the ridge capping process, refer back to earlier in the video.
Fielders made.
Made for the contemporary.
Made for imagination.
Made for style.
Fielders made.
Made for inspiration.